Hey there everyone, I'm meteorologist Cassie Nall, and this is your 10 Weather Impact Recap for the week. Let's start with a look at some of the top weather stories from around the country. In Menasha, Wisconsin, an EF3 tornado with estimated winds as high as 140 miles per hour tore through the community Monday afternoon, leaving behind unbelievable damage and destruction. Miraculously, there were no injuries or deaths. Elise No has the latest from the Midwest.
Tornado right there, folks.
The storm moved through Menasha just after noon on Monday. When it was over, homes were damaged, trees were uprooted, and power lines were down across the city.
It's just a mess. Yeah, I've never seen anything like this.
From above, the path of damage is clear. Crews spending the day clearing streets and homeowners cleaning up and assessing the damage to their homes.
And it was all black, and it was just wind blowing everywhere. You could hear branches and stuff falling and hitting the wall.
This storm also forcing road closures across the city as downed trees and power lines blocked traffic. City officials asking people to stay away from the hardest hit areas as crews work to clear debris.
And then I had to abandon my car because power lines and the trees were blocking all the streets. It's been outrageous.
With streets blocked by debris or heavy traffic, some residents were forced to walk, while others waited to return to their homes.
It's okay, we're okay. So I'm just glad that we're okay, my husband's okay, but it's gonna take a while to clean up.
And we had our own round of severe weather here in East Tennessee this week. Thankfully, nothing as intense as what happened in Wisconsin. Strong storms developed in our viewing area Tuesday afternoon and evening as a front moved through the region. Numerous alerts were issued, including several tornado warnings. And check out this video from Blount County. You can clearly see the rotation with a funnel cloud near Chilhowie Mountain. And here's another angle of the same storm. While we can see the funnel and it's obviously rotating, it's not clear if that funnel is actually in contact with the ground. And as of this recording, the National Weather Service in Morristown had not received any reports of damage with this storm. They will have to use satellite data to determine if there was any tree damage, which could confirm whether or not this funnel was actually a tornado. Now, when we shared this video on social media, several people commented to say, "I've always heard that tornadoes don't happen in the mountains." Well, this commonly shared information is incorrect. Yes, hills and mountains can sometimes help to disrupt storms, but they can also create localized areas of rotation when winds are coming from the right direction. Every county in our viewing area has experienced a tornado since reliable records began in 1950. And while they may be less common in the mountains than on the plateau or in the valley, they can still happen. So it's always a good idea to be prepared whenever strong storms are possible. In Utah, a completely different type of twister was caught on camera. This one developed during a wildfire. A towering firenado can be seen near the Widemouth 2 fire in Utah's Fish Lake National Forest. The wildfire has grown to more than 5,000 acres in size and is prompting evacuations in nearby areas. In addition to the wildfires, people in Utah are also dealing with rain and flooding now that the monsoon season has kicked in. Businesses in rural parts of the state say the double disasters have ruined what should have been a busy tourist season. Maddie Baggett has the story.
I don't know that there is a recovery from this without some kind of miracle.
Burn scars left by the Cottonwood fire increase the risk of flash floods as runoff swept debris across roads, campgrounds, and recreation areas popular with tourists. Dan Groves is the owner of Hoover's River Resort in Marysville. He said smoke from the fire alone caused many tourists to cancel trips to southern Utah.
People still just were changing their plans entirely. It sounded like the whole state was on fire.
Groves said the cancellations were especially painful because they followed multiple difficult tourism seasons in recent years.
This was the third year in a row that we had pretty much the entire summer cancel and less through traffic for the restaurant, and we were seeing some writing on the wall that was pretty grim.
Businesses were dealt another setback when officials issued a boil water advisory for parts of Paiute after flood runoff affected local water systems. At Big Rock Mountain Candy Restaurant, employee Carly Vetri said the combination of wildfire evacuations, flooding, and the advisory has left businesses struggling to survive.
People convoyed it out of here when the fires were actually happening. now we have flooding, so that's something else.
Veltri said the summer tourism season is critical for many businesses in rural Utah communities.
It's killing us all. Utah is a seasonal state, so all of the revenue basically comes from the summertime. And now, since there's no business, there's no revenue.
Grove said the repeated disasters have created financial pressure that many owners cannot control.
It's not because we're bad business owners, it's because we had, these natural disasters over and over again.
In Washington state, the Kaiser Canyon fire has been changing the landscape for nearly 2 weeks. The flames have already scorched more than 126,000 acres. More than 1,000 firefighters are trying to get it under control, but windy conditions aren't helping. And extreme heat and wildfire smoke are also creating dangerous conditions for firefighters and residents in areas near the fires. Eric Wilkinson shares more from the Pacific Northwest.
Volunteer firefighter Ryder Miller is gearing up for a 1-2 punch of heat and haze that awaits when the call goes out to help his community. 50 pounds of gear and temperatures of 800 degrees inside a burning building to be expected.
Probably just thinking of how I'm going to deal with it, like what challenges to overcome.
By noon in Darrington, it was already 91 degrees today. Dangerous not just for the community, but firefighters as well. Heat stroke and dehydration always right around the corner.
But then you're used to being able to come outside and get a little relief. Even stripping down and taking off your jacket and pouring some water on, just the relief isn't there when it's more hot and humid like today.
In places like Darrington, the summer fire season is especially dangerous for first responders. Campers can spark wildfires. Climbers can get stranded, straining resources. There's always the possibility of a bad crash on Highway 530. And of course, the ever-present likelihood of a water rescue.
We've got, water, all this kind of stuff, and not to mention just the health risks that come with smoke. So we just try to be prepared for that.
Take a look at the difference a week's worth of wildfire smoke makes. This was the view of Darrington's White Horse Mountain exactly 1 week ago. And here it is today. The white-capped white horse veiled in a sooty gray. Meantime, families like the Tanners do whatever they can to keep their cool. The icy mountain water, a reminder to enjoy these warm days while we still have them.
We just go to the creek or the river. That's all we have.
Smoke from those large wildfires burning out west and in Canada is being pulled up and around a big ridge of high pressure and right down here into East Tennessee. You may have noticed that the skies have seemed hazy or even milky white in color. The extra particulate matter can also give us a vibrant orange sunrise and sunset, and it also helped to make the full moon look more like a rising pumpkin earlier this week. In Colorado, scientists are taking to the skies to study one of the least understood weather phenomena on Earth. A NASA-led mission is chasing wildfires that grow powerful enough to create their own thunderstorms. Scientists with Inspire launched their first research flight on Monday. They used specially equipped aircraft to learn more about pyrocumulus clouds, or thunderstorms that develop from the intense heat from wildfires. 2 airplanes flew near the billowing clouds to collect smoke particles for those scientists to study.
There are many parts of this that are still not well understood. There's only so much you can do looking from space with satellites, but at some point you actually have to get aircraft and go up there and measure it. And other times relatively small fires can produce the thunderstorm phenomenon, and we want to understand what's the driving factor there.
This is our first time doing this type of project with this plane. We won't be right in the heart of those clouds. That's a much too dangerous place to be, where the smoke, where those pyrocumulus clouds are. But we'll be just downstream where it's safe, and then kind of seeing how that evolves going downstream from there.
Researchers will be tracking thunderstorms created by wildfires across the western part of the U.S. for the next 6 weeks. In Missouri, access to fresh produce is a challenge for many people in Kansas City neighborhoods. To address the issue, the University of Missouri Kansas City is experimenting with farming indoors. Olivia Acri shows us how the project works.
Students at UMKC are fighting food insecurity from the ground up. Inside Florsheim Hall, rows of leafy greens are growing without soil, sunlight, or a traditional farm. Instead, their indoor hydroponics system is now at the center of a new agriculture education certificate launching this fall.
Understanding that this is really a huge need, and especially in urban environments where we can make such a smaller footprint when it comes to what we grow and how we grow it.
That's UMKC Research Director Angie Cottrell. She says growing food closer to the urban core could help give more people access to fresher food at a lower cost.
By the time you get it, it could be 5-6 days old, versus growing here in your own backyard in Kansas City. We can literally harvest this lettuce, wash it, clean it, and get it out on the shelves within 30 minutes.
Student Jackie Gildo, who's spearheading the project with Cottrell, told me that seeing students pick up their lettuce from the campus pantry showed her this could make a difference.
Seeing like, oh wow, this really is a need. I think that's like the fruits of the work coming into life, yeah.
Gildo and Cottrell have seen success with other produce like strawberries, tomatoes, and herbs. And as the first group of students get their indoor farms off the ground, they hope to teach the community that even a small space can make a big impact.
Even just a small 6x6 footprint to produce like 200 pounds of lettuce, I think that's just a proof that this concept can work.
A school in Hawaii aims to inspire the next generation of environmentally conscious leaders with a hands-on approach to learning. Zane Asher takes us on a trip to the Aloha State.
Move very slowly, very gently. Remember, walk carefully because there's snail shells in here.
This group of school children on the island of Kauai are helping a local farmer rid his fields of an invasive and highly destructive pest.
I'm trying to find apple snails and get them out of the taro.
Taro is a root vegetable that's considered a sacred plant in Hawaiian culture and is also a staple in the island's cuisine.
Tell us what you're doing.
Collecting these.
What are those?
Snail eggs.
By helping remove the eggs from the taro, these kids are not only helping protect their own food source, but they're also learning valuable life lessons.
I think it's important for the kids because it does teach them about the Hawaiian culture, where it all came from. That's why we say it's our responsibility to take care of the taro. And it helps them with just the basic understanding of biodiversity.
Nature-based activities like this are at the core of a curriculum that is the brainchild of educator Christina Zimmerman.
At Earth School Hawaii, our mission is to create children who will be game changers in our world. Through environmental education, through small group education. You know, we live at a really unique place, being on a small island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. So we really try to cater to the individual child here and the individual needs of our island.
Based on the North Shore of Kauai, Earth School Hawaii has programs for kindergarten through 8th grade.
So our goal is taking our entire school day and focusing in on environmental education and teaching the language arts and the maths and the science and all the common cores through environmental concepts.
By partnering with local organizations, the school is able to provide a true hands-on approach to learning.
We're doing crab traps. That's the chicken.
We work with a lot of other nonprofits on the island who are also doing amazing things here. And we try to get the kids involved and out and doing as much as possible.
We've never done this, so.
Okay. If you let some of your rope out like this, you just grab your trap like this, and you can kind of toss it gently like that.
Okay.
The crab traps is a way to give them some tools with tying knots and understanding the life and biology of decomposers inside of the stream. Male or female?
Male.
Male. So can we take these ones or no? Are these the ones we can eat? Yeah. Then the lesson shifts to resource management and the species of crab that you're catching and size limits, and then which ones are legal to take.
So is that one big enough?
I think it's a little shy.
A little bit shy.
One of the biggest issues in Kauai is the water quality, with high bacteria levels a cause for concern, according to the Surfrider Foundation's Blue Water Task Force.
We do a lot of work with Surfrider Kauai, and our goal behind that is beach cleanups, but also the water studies, which is huge. We don't have great results a lot in our rivers around here, so it's really important for the kids to learn what causes that to be off. What can we do to help remedy that? And so they chart it, they do all their math studies through it, but also talk about solutions to that.
Thank you. This is cool, huh?
They are so far ahead of where we were 20, 30, 40 years ago. And they're 5 and 6 and 7, they're just starting. And so in my mind, it's like, what is it gonna be like in 10 years or 20 years with these kids leading us? And that's the focus. We have to take these kids, get them educated at a very, very young age, and I can only imagine what that looks like for our island or our world. But I feel like this has to be the focus. It has to. This is our future.
And now let's get a check of our own 7-day forecast here. We finally get a break from the heat and the humidity, but only for a couple of days. By the time we get into the weekend, our rain chances will be back on the rise. The humidity will return, but it does look like temperatures may actually stay a little bit below average all the way into the early parts of next week, which, by the way, is the beginning of the month of August. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, you can get the latest forecast and watch our 24/7 live radar anytime with the WBIR app. You can download the app for free and watch on your TV.